If the royal family cannot see that Harry's trip to Nigeria foreshadows the African forest coming to Buckingham Palace to signify the end of the Commonwealth, Macbeth style, then they should go to Specsavers or Twitter. Because if they do, then they would be able to see that this is the likely outcome, from the warmth of the welcome given to former working royals, Harry and Meghan, in Nigeria. The warmth of the welcome and reception given to the couple, who are on a private visit to Nigeria, to promote the Invictus Games, clearly shows that their expulsion from the royal family will result in William being unable to succeed his father as the head of the Commonwealth. There is no current member of the royal family that can ever be as warmly received as the exiled couple have been received in Nigeria, or any other Commonwealth nation. Harry and Meghan are the only royal couple to have faced no protests whatsoever, and enjoyed rock-star welcome on every single tour. William and Catherine's royal tours have been mired in controversies and protests at every single stop, and in certain instances they were forced to cancel some. Charles and Camilla's royal tours have similarly been plagued by protests, to such an extent that they stopped for some time. There is already the strong possibility that the Commonwealth may not survive the reign of His Majesty King Charles III. Several member states are currently considering their exit, and others are likely to follow suit. For a brief period when the popularity of the royal family was at its highest at home and abroad, because of the Meghan Markle effect, there was a slowing down or halt in the agitation to leave. However, in the wake of Megxit, that agitation has continued, and will continue to grow. Now that Meghan has traced her heritage to Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, and the Commonwealth's third most populous, the signs are clear for all but the toxic British media and the royal family to see. The introduction of the Invictus Games in Nigeria means the development of a long association between the couple and the country. And as that association grows, it will become more likely that Nigeria will not support their arch-nemesis, ever becoming the head of the Commonwealth, especially given the perception that the expulsion of the woman of Nigerian heritage was racially motivated. Apart from the size of its population, Nigeria is an influential member of the Commonwealth that is not agitating to leave. However, this position is likely to change in the future as their association with their prodigal daughter and her husband deepens. Before their trip, many of the prominent supporters of the Sussexes are Nigerians by birth or adoption. The woman who tore Piers Morgan to shreds on his own show, because of his virulent and unrelenting attacks on Meghan, is a Nigerian. Her stinging criticism set in motion the series of events, culminating in Piers walking off his own set, and subsequent departure from mainstream television. And the woman who was at the centre of the royal race row in the UK, that sparked the booing of William and Catherine in the US, is a Nigerian by adoption. Despite the toxic British media's attempts to represent otherwise, it is widely understood that racism was at the root of Meghan's terrible treatment and subsequent expulsion from the UK. It is illuminating that the toxic British media revelled in the knowledge that, en route to Nigeria, she picked her husband up from an airfield in the UK, without stepping into the country. The welcome she has received in Nigeria contrasts sharply with the hatred that is reserved for her in the UK. It is telling that the toxic British media attempted to gaslight the public into believing that Harry was poorly received at his recent UK appearance, at the Invictus Games which he founded, and his arch-nemesis tried unsuccessfully to steal. This false propaganda was quickly debunked on social media. The royal family's support for the toxic British media's obsession with demonizing the couple, because Harry was brave enough to hold them to account for their appalling phone hacking, has, and will continue to cost them dearly. The saga has already split the nation, with a significant proportion of the UK population supporting the couple, despite the doomed efforts of the toxic British media to represent otherwise. There is an even greater proportion of the Commonwealth, who believe that Meghan was an easy target to demonize, as a means of pressuring her husband because of her race. These perceptions are held widely, deeply, and strongly, inside and outside the UK, and particularly inside the Commonwealth. It therefore beggars belief that the royal family cannot see how damaging the expulsion of Meghan is to their reputation in a multicultural Commonwealth. The head of the Commonwealth is not a hereditary title, and future heads will be chosen by Commonwealth leaders. King Charles may have enjoyed the tacit support of the current generation of Commonwealth states leaders, but the future generation are more likely to resonate with Harry and Meghan, less likely to be as obliging as their predecessors were, and therefore more inclined to break from the Commonwealth. Meghan, being a part of the royal family, helped to stem the breakaway tide, fueled by the agitation against the racist history underpinning the creation of the Commonwealth. Her exclusion has definitely accelerated the breakup, and their trip to Nigeria is about to turbocharge it. William will most definitely not succeed his father as head of the Commonwealth, unless he reconciles with his brother. His father may also be the last king of Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, the way things have been going post-Brexit. It is somewhat ironic, given all the noise that William has been making about streamlining the royal family, that the only kingdom that will be left for him to inherit will be England.